These are the first 5 videos I ever posted on YouTube. Game 1 recap, 92 views. Game 2, 102. Game 3, 112 views. Game 4, 90. Game 5, 143. If you're a small creator and you're watching this, you've probably had that moment where you check your analytics and you see a number like 90, down from a small number to begin with, and think, is this even worth it? Am I wasting my time? And I felt that. I almost made the wrong conclusion from it. So let me tell you what I actually learned from posting 5 videos that basically nobody watched. The first thing I want to say, and this is something I think a lot of small creators get wrong, is that those numbers don't mean what I thought they meant at the time. When I saw 92 views on my first video, my gut reaction was the content just isn't good enough. The video's bad, my takes are bad, the editing's not great, I'm bad on camera. That's where your brain goes, right? But here's the thing I didn't consider. I had basically no subscribers. Zero. Nobody was subscribed to my channel. So nobody was getting notified when I posted. Nobody was searching for second effort because second effort didn't exist yet. Look at the impressions on these. YouTube barely showed them to anyone, not because YouTube hated me or something was against me, but because I didn't have any track record, no audience, no watch history for the algorithm to work with. So when I looked at 92 views and concluded that the content is the problem, I was reading the data wrong. The content might have had issues, sure, but the biggest issue was that I was a brand new channel with no audience. And you can't separate those two things. If you're a new creator and your videos are getting low views, before you tear yourself apart, before you tear your content apart, just ask yourself, do people even know that you exist yet? Because that's a different problem than making bad videos, and it requires a different solution. Now, does that mean that those first 5 videos were great and just didn't find their audience? No. Let's be real, I watched those videos back now and I cringe at some of it. The pacing was off, I was way too long. Some of these were 15 minutes, 18 minutes when they could have been 8. I wasn't confident on camera yet. I was still figuring out what my voice sounded like. But here's what making those videos gave me that I couldn't have gotten any other way. Number 1 is I learned how to edit on a brand new software. So I use DaVinci Resolve, which is a free software. In the past, I paid for Adobe Premiere because that's what I was comfortable with. I used to use Final Cut Pro in my high school video productions classes. So it was like riding a bike for the first time in 5 years, but some of the pedals were different and some of the brakes were different. You got to figure out, I don't know, just a couple of tweaks. It took me a little bit to get comfortable, but I figured it out. Number 2, I found out how long it actually takes to make thumbnails. Before I started, I had no idea. I thought I'd film for 15 minutes, do a quick edit, open up Canva for 5 minutes, move a couple pictures around and upload. But it took longer than that. I tried to figure out, what works for other people. And, it was a little bit harder, I think, than I thought it was going to be to create those engaging thumbnails that actually can get clicks. And number 3, this is the big one. I started developing stronger opinions. My early recaps were a little bit more neutral, describing what happened in the game, what the stats were. Cade scored 25, Jalen Duren, and 8 rebounds and was terrible. But as I kept making them, I started having stronger takes and gaining more confidence in my ability to articulate them and back them up. I started thinking about what the Pistons should do differently and being able to convey that, my own strong point of view. And that point of view is eventually what made my later videos work. The trade target rankings, the mock drafts, the player analysis. None of that content exists without the reps I got from those first 5 videos that got 90 views. You can't skip the reps, and you shouldn't judge the reps by their view count. So if the numbers aren't motivating me by every step, then what was? And this is something I want to spend some more time on because I think it's the thing that separates creators who make it through the first few months from the creators who quit. I kept going because my only goals weren't YouTube. I didn't start second effort just to hit 1,000 subscribers. I started it because I love the Detroit Pistons and I wanted to build something real around that. I wanted to get media credentials. I wanted to eventually sit at a press conference and ask a question. I wanted to have basketball analysts that I respect and listen to all the time on my own come on my show. I wanted to build a community where Pistons fans actually wanted to hang out and talk basketball. Those goals don't require 10,000 views. They require consistency, they require showing up, and they require getting better over time. One of the most transformational experiences, honestly, was when I joined a Twitter space with some Pistons fans that I interacted on Twitter with a few times. And when I came in there, I mean, they acted like, the most popular podcaster in Pistons land just joined. They were so excited to see me join. They wanted to ask me all the questions, and that was the respect that like I couldn't believe I already had. When you're measuring progress against those goals, 92 videos on your first video isn't a failure, it's step one. So think about it like this, and this is a concept that I want to introduce on this channel because I think it matters a lot. If you've ever tried to lose weight, you've probably heard of non-scale victories. Things like your clothes fitting better, you have more energy, you're sleeping better. The number on the scale may not have moved yet, but you're making progress. And YouTube, it's the same thing. They're non-YouTube metric victories, right? So my first one was first time someone left a real, thoughtful, genuine comment, disagreeing with my take, not hate, but like a genuine basketball discussion. That meant that someone who, listened to my view, they heard my argument and they cared enough to push back. That's the community. That's what doesn't show up in the analytics. Another one, I had some great creators. One was Zarek from Bully Ball. I really admired his content for a long time. He's an exceptional Pistons photographer and in general just great with media. And he was willing to come on my channel. We did a video where we got over 6,000 views. But even if it got 200, the fact that someone whose content that I watched and admired said, "Yeah, let's do this," and it was so giving with their time and happy to join me, that was a great victory. None of those show up in your subscriber count, but they're all signs that you're building something real. And if you don't track those, you don't celebrate those. If the only number you're watching is the views and the subs, the slow months, they're gonna break you down. I really believe that. Now, here's the good, because eventually the numbers did catch up. Around my third week, I posted a video called Pistons Finding Kate as Co-Star, basically ranking the best trade targets for the Pistons this offseason. It got 8,200 views. And I remember thinking, wait, what? I've been posting for weeks and nothing broke like 120. And now I got 8,000 views in one video? But here's what I want you to notice. I didn't suddenly get better overnight. What happened was a combination of things. I built up a small library of content so YouTube had more data on my channel. I had shifted from recapping games that already happened to forward looking opinions, which turns out to be what a lot of people want on YouTube. And it's a double edged sword. And I'll talk about that in a later video for sure. I got better on camera, better at pacing, better at structuring a video, all from those first 5 videos that flopped, right? The reps built the foundation that made the breakout possible. If I had quit after video 3 because I only had 100 views, none of it would have happened. So if you're a small creator watching this, here's what I want you to take from my first 5 videos. Don't judge your early work by the same standards as your later work. A video posted to 0 subscribers is playing a different game than one that's posted to 500 subscribers. The metrics aren't comparable, and beating yourself up over early numbers is reading the data wrong. Track the reps, not just the results. What did you learn? Write down one thing that got easier. What are you doing in video 5 that you couldn't do in video 1 or you didn't spend the time doing, you didn't know you had to do? That progress is real even if the view count doesn't reflect it yet. And find your non-YouTube metric victories. Figure out what success looks like beyond the dashboard because the dashboard will eventually catch up if you keep going. But only if you have something beyond the dashboard that keeps you going through the slow part. My first 5 videos got 100 views each, and every single one of them mattered. I'll see you in the next one.